Hello, all you paranormal freaks. It's the last Saturday of the month, and you know what that means. The veil is at its thinnest. So if you're brave enough, all of you hitchers and drifters, load up for a ride with Golden J and Logan as they traverse to the other side.
Hello, all of my paranormal freaks out there. It is I, Golden J, hanging out with...
Just Logan.
It's just Logan.
It's just Logan.
And welcome to the other side. What's up, dude?
Not a whole lot. Just for people out there in podcast land, today's actually Thanksgiving. So I didn't work today, but I did stuff. I don't cook Thanksgiving whatsoever. I'm not a Thanksgiving person at all. Thanksgiving gives me anxiety, but I did go to Kayla's mom's house and they ate food and whatnot, and the girls went to bed early because they were tired from playing outside.
Oh, well, that's a bonus. They wore themselves out.
Yeah.
As people well know from the past few pods, my oldest, the Skywalker, and his wife are in Japan, so we've been trading off the grandkids with the other grandparents, and so we ended up getting them last night and had them today for a while before their other grandma or their Gigi come and pick them up. And so with Skylar and Jess gone, Gunnar and Sarah are down at Sarah's mom's down in Indy. Montana had stuff with her husband's family today. So me and the rocker chick just basically our Thanksgiving lunch was fish sticks and French fries.
I'll take it, man. I'll take it.
I texted. I have a group text with your dad, Scotty T, Little J. That those guys are always passing around beer pictures and shit, about what they're drinking. But Scotty T is like, "Happy Thanksgiving," or no, your dad was like, "Happy Thanksgiving." Scotty T come back with "Happy Thanksgiving." I'm like, "Happy Fish Stick Day."
Yeah, no shit.
So that spawned a long conversation off to the side with Scotty T. I'm like, well, you can come down to Sally's house and hang out. And I'm like, I appreciate it, but
yeah,
we're gonna hang out here and just watch some football. And
there's nothing like just chilling at home. Like for me, you can't top like the few Thanksgivings I had when I was little at Joyce and Harold's.
Oh,
because that was that generic like Hallmark type shit. Like there would the big ass table, everything you could think of was on it. You had like Aunt Joyce and her. Like I didn't know fucking 75% of the people that was at that Thanksgiving.
Okay. No,
so
because church people were there. A lot of the church family were there too.
Yeah, and seldomly, like I think I can remember one that you guys were actually at with us. Like I think I can just remember one because normally I was like one of the only children there.
Right.
So I would just be chilling with Uncle Harold watching movies while waiting for food and stuff. And then like after we left there, we really never got back to doing like Thanksgiving stuff. We didn't do anything in Germany really because usually Dad was gone or whatever. And then we got here, we didn't really mess with it either. And it's just like the few we did have here were a mess with other people. And so it just gives Thanksgiving just gives me the Wiggins. So I don't touch. I'm a big cook guy. Like I cook all the time. I do not fuck with Thanksgiving food.
If I remember right, we were at quite a few of them, but with my family, it was the traditional, it was noon on Thanksgiving Day. We sat down for food, and, Aunt Joyce and Uncle Harold were always very kind and kind of pushing theirs back so that we could be there. Most of the time, there was a few times where, they went ahead and it was just like easier for them just to go ahead and do it at their normal time. But there was a few of them that we made it there about 3:00 and we'd sit down and attempt to eat because we had already shoved ourselves full at the noon. But yeah, man, you are 100% correct. Both places for me were just like that, man. You sat down at a table completely packed full of food, turkey and ham and all the extras, whether it be mashed potatoes and stuffing and rolls, and wow, it was what a great memory from back in the day.
Yeah, now I just see any of that stuff and I'm like Chandler from Friends. I'm like turkey. Ugh, that's fucking. I've never liked like most of the food I've never liked. I can't stand stuffing. I don't like cranberries. It's not about it, man.
That's weird. I thought everybody liked stuffing.
I don't like stuffing. I think it's because I grew up with my mom cooking that like Stouffer's shit.
The old stovetop stuffing.
I just don't like it, man. I never have that and green bean casserole, man. I can't stand either or.
I don't mind green bean casserole. Bobby's on this new thing where the last few years where she's made a corn souffle, and everybody loves the corn souffle. It's just not. It's not for me.
I'm with you. There's never been a souffle that I've like that and like that. And when people cook like breakfast quiche, like I fucking. No. Just give me like biscuits and gravy or something like generic. Like I don't need whatever the hell a breakfast quiche is. I'm not even 100% sure what a quiche is, but I don't fucking like it.
Hey man, biscuits and gravy. If you want some of the best biscuits and gravy that I've ever had in Kansas City, there's a place called The Big Biscuit.
The Big Biscuit.
Oh dear Lord. We try to get there every time we're out there. And of course we did make it there this last weekend when we were there. And it does not disappoint, man.
You can't with a name like Big Biscuit. You can't fuck up biscuits and
these
gravy.
fucking biscuits are huge, dude.
Well, they're big biscuit.
They're big.
They gotta be fucking big.
Yeah, not quite. You want to go? Do you make one that's not quite as big? Do you have like not quite as big biscuit?
Not quite as big biscuit. I love biscuits and gravy. It's one of the like few things back in the day my dad would cook when I was little. He made two things for me for breakfast, and I was like biscuits and gravy was rare, and the rest of the time it would be a Pop-Tart that was in the toaster, and then he'd fucking put butter on the top of it. But he my whole life he's like, you think these biscuits and gravy are good? He was like, Aunt Joe makes the best biscuits and gravy. She make the best biscuits and gravy, and she recently passed away, so like not to besmirch Aunt Joe or anything, but we went there like 10-12 years ago. I was like maybe right about to be out of high school or whatnot, so probably longer than that. And I wake up and they're like, Aunt Joe's cooking biscuits and gravy. I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus. I've heard about this my whole life. I sit down and eat it. And it was the worst fucking biscuits and gravy. Because she just made it with like the grease and everything. Right. And it just tasted like straight up grease on a biscuit. And I looked at him and I was like, you fucking lied to me.
You lied to me.
And he was like, I remember them being better. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck he told me, but like it just tasted like straight up like bacon grease on a biscuit. And I was so fucking sad. It's like bacon grease and flour.
Oh man. I've never made a good biscuits and gravy, but I've never really tried. You know, sometimes we get those packages and you make them and whatever. But we stopped. So on the way back from Kansas City, I get a phone call from Fat Billy Ray, and nice. He's like, "Where you at?" And I'm like telling him, and he's like, "I'm about 45 minutes ahead of you, running across 72." He goes, "You want to meet for lunch?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's do this thing," because I haven't seen him since before the campground closed down in early October. So we meet up at this fucking truck stop and sat down, and I ordered the country fried steak with gravy on it. And holy fuck me and the goat ass, man. That shit was delicious.
Nice.
I can't remember if I was just that hungry or if it was just that good, but it's back to one of those little mom and pop diners in a fucking truck stop. And
oh yeah, well that's where a lot of good shit is at those truck stops, man. The closest thing we got to decent truck stop is one that's got a Denny's in the ass end of it. Get you some moons over my hammy.
I've never been a big Denny's fan. Trying to remember the last time I was there, it just was not very good.
The only time I go to Denny's is if my grandpa is here and he wants to do breakfast, and he just fucking swears by Denny's. And I think it's mostly because they got that badass senior citizen discount over there. But like I never get Denny's is like one of those weird menus where it's everything. It's like there's the moon is over my hammy and all your breakfast shit, and then they've got like nachos randomly on there, or like a weird chicken strip sandwich. It's got like anything you could think of. And I always get like whatever seasonal bullshit special item they have on there.
Right.
I don't think I've ever had breakfast anything yet. I know I don't normally order breakfast stuff at any restaurant. I think like maybe the last time I had breakfast at a restaurant was like at Bob Evans back in Indiana.
Right.
Like,
Well, they make a pretty badass breakfast there, but
yeah.
Yeah, you talk about the senior citizen discount. We were actually with Sarah's mom and her dad. I do believe it was her dad, and we were helping Sarah move, I think, out of her apartment. And her grandpa's like, I got coupons for the Steak and Shake, so that's where we went for lunch because he had coupons, but they'd expired.
Oh no.
It was so much fun hanging out with him. He was wonderful.
Our Steak and Shake that was barely 3 years old is gone now.
Really?
Well, I stopped eating there forever ago because they got rid of my go-to. There's one thing I like to eat there, and that was the jalapeno steak crunch burger.
Uh-huh.
And it's like the service there was just ass all the time. And one day I about quit because they started using those fucking paper straws. And fuck me, does a paper straw fucking suck? Like, I don't like them. The concept's great. Like, I get it. Like, I don't want a fucking turtle noose a fucking sea turtle with a plastic straw.
Absolutely, yeah.
I normally just drink straight from the glass and stuff where I go places. But the paper straw, it doesn't even last the whole drink. It leaves a weird fucking taste in your mouth, and your straw's all limp dick like sideways, and you're like.
Well, my thing was he's about halfway through. You're spitting out the paper of the fucking paper
it's
straw.
Just fucking horrible. Like I'm sitting here trying to fucking hold my straw up to get it fucking erect again so I can fucking drink from it. And I'm like, this is just not a good experience.
My straw has whiskey dick.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. And like I said, this place folded up like quick. And it was out of nowhere. It was just like one day they just fucking slapped a sign on the door like, we're done.
Well, the one that we had in Warsaw, it's all closed up now. They demolished it.
Oh, shit.
They took it down and stuck a Culver's. They built a Culver's in there. And
man, they couldn't even repurpose that. Well, no. Steak and Shake's one of those buildings when they make it, it's such a odd design specific. Yeah, it's like around here, you can tell where like a Wiener Schnitzel or a fucking Whataburger's used to be because it'll be like a weird triangle building and somebody builds something in it.
We did do Whataburger while we was in Kansas City this round. We were going to go down to the Wahlburgers. Now, I don't know if you know about Wahlburgers, but apparently
Marky Mark's family shit.
Yeah, but apparently around the Kansas City area now, they've decided to team up with Hy-Vee, the grocery store. Do you guys have Hy-Vee down that way?
No.
Okay, just checking because we don't have them up here either. We just, like Kansas City, I know has them, but they've teamed up with Hy-Vee to put the Wahlburgers in the Hy-Vee stores now.
Huh.
And we go down, we meet up with Phil Jordan from Indiana Chiefs fans. His mom meets us down at Wahlburgers at the Hy-Vee, and she calls us. She's like, there ain't nobody here.
Oh, shit.
The fucking place was dark. And we're like, hey, what's the deal? And they're like, couldn't get anybody to work.
Wow.
Like, shit.
That bad.
So we end up going down to Whataburger, which is just a few places down from there. But I haven't had Whataburger since that trip to Dallas.
They just
coming back with Fat Billy Ray.
They just recently started branching out outside of Texas with those.
Mahomes is a big reason why they are in Kansas City because he's a Texas Tech kid and he loves his Whataburger and that fucking ketchup.
Yeah,
so he
do whatever the fuck he asked for.
Exactly.
Like, fucking Whataburger. And they're like, yes, sir. Where do you want it?
Well, besides the one that's in his new house, he's got a couple there around Kansas City.
Yeah. Now, see, I live 2 minutes away from Whataburger, and like I might eat there once a year.
Right.
To me, it's nothing special, and it's just so fucking expensive. Like we ate last time, me and Kayla ate there by ourselves. It was like $25, and it was just like 2 combos, and not even big combos.
Well,
and you're just like, man, it's a hamburger and fries, dog.
You know what I did? So that's what we did. We ended up getting the avocado bacon cheeseburger.
That's what Kayla got. Yep.
Me and Bobby both got that. And of course, they give you that little number, and you go to your fucking seat, and we sit down and we're visiting with Phil's mom and her husband, and they bring our food out, and all the shit's still sitting on the table. So I grabbed the number and I can put it in my pocket. So I got myself a nice little Whataburger.
Nice.
Stupid as fuck. And now they're all fucked because if they have to put their numbers 1 through 100,
Yeah,
there's no
they're missing one.
33.
That's all right. I've got mugs from the Steak and Shake that closed down here. I got a mug in the kitchen from that. My thing is I like to take mugs with names on it.
Well, was the last year we were out there and we went to this pizza place and I've been hearing a lot about Kansas City Beer Co., which is the beer company that's out there, and they actually had it on tap, and I'm like, I got to try this. So I order one up. Well, they give it to me in a Kansas City Beer Co. glass.
Oh shit!
And I drink the beer, and I look at Bobby. I go, stick this in your fucking purse. I'm taking this home with me.
They got to be used to it at this point.
I'm sure they have to be. They have to be.
And you're just asking for it if you don't sell them. If you don't have like a little spot there that's like, hey, fucking buy this, and be like, well, fuck you. You're not selling it. I'm fucking taking it.
As I put on this podcast, I'm a fucking thief when I go to a fucking fast food restaurant.
Oh, everybody fucking does it. The biggest one I ever did, I've still got it to this day. I got a margarita at some Mexican restaurant in Port Arthur where my parents and everybody was eating. And this margarita comes out in this fucking like goblet. It's like this big, like you could kill somebody with this thing. It's so thick and everything. And I was like, I'm taking this. Like, where are you going to put that? You don't have a purse. I'm not putting that in my purse. I'm like, I'm going to walk the fuck out with it. That's what I'm going to do. Ain't nobody going to say nothing to me. And sure as shit, I'm just walking out with my hand and nobody
said shit.
Like, have a nice day. And I was like, I will.
We did that one time years and years and years ago. We had played a gig at a little coffee house up in Elkhart, and there was a Quiznos right down the way. And after we finished up, we went down to Quiznos and got it. Well, they give you in that fucking really weird tray. I mean, it was just it's like had a fucking cup holder in it or something like that. The sandwich sits on it. And I think it was me and Scott and Bobby and Brad Hargrave. And we're like, oh, we really like these trays. And we're all debating on whether we're going to snatch one of these trays. And as we're walking out, Bobby just dumps the trash off of it and walks out the door. Scott and Brad had already left. And as they're driving by, Hargrave's hanging out the window with 2 of those fucking trays going, So yeah, we all snatched it, pop full of those fuckers on the way out.
Just act like you own it, man. My parents have a fucking this taco place that was really good. Geo Burrito, or not Geo Burrito. It was what replaced Geo Burrito. Freebird's Burrito closed down, and like it had been closed for months, went out of business, and they have these half, like they just look like those old like metal cans that people would have like burn stuff in. But it's half of one, and then on top it's got a place to put the trays. It's yellow, has a magnet in it. Like, come eat it, Freebirds. I just pull up the truck up there. It's on the outdoor patio, and I just fucking I just load it up in the bed of the truck. Somebody was like, "You cleaning up?" And was like, "Yeah," and just fucking left with it and gave it to my parents.
That's not right. What have you stolen, listeners? We want to know. United States Paranormal at gmail.com.
Everybody and their brother does it.
Everybody does it.
Just don't steal from like little mom and pops places, No. Just hit the corporations. It's fine.
Get the chains, man. They got fucking cases and cases of that shit laying around back.
Oh, seems like everything's closing up. You guys got Penguin Points gone now, and you talked about Quiznos. Quiznos folded forever ago.
Yep. Yeah, that Penguin Point thing is a sad, sad day right here in the northern Indiana.
That's crazy, man. That's like a staple down there. I can't.
Well, they've been in business for 100 years or something like that.
It must be bad or something. That A&W root beer stand out there still up and running, or that fold up too?
Yeah. Let's see. The one that's down in Mentone kind of keeps changing hands, but they're still going. The one that's in Rochester, I think, is actually still an A&W. The one that was in Warsaw has been long gone. It's some Indian restaurant now. You can get Indian food.
Yeah.
From India. Does that make sense? I don't want to make sure it's not like Indian food, like corn maze and stuff like that. But
I don't think any place that I frequented when I lived down there or up there is around anymore, because the pizza place I ate at on I can't remember. I think it was Tuesdays was the only time I could eat there.
Yeah, because the only time you can afford it.
Yeah, it's the only time I can afford it. So every week I was like, hell yeah, I'll get a pepperoni and smoked bacon deep dish because it's half off. And it's the only time I can do it.
Yeah, no, it's true, man. A lot of the good places have gone. I can't remember what the name of that pizza place was, but
I think it was just like, I think it was just Chicago pizza and something, or it wasn't nothing fancy name wise. Then Trying to remember all the places that I used to eat down there. There was that sandwich place that was close to a tattoo shop down there that folded up too. I can't remember what the hell
That
that place was
Blimpies?
called. I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
And
think those survived. Those were all like company or privately owned. That you bought the name, and then they trained you how to do all that shit, and a lot of people just folded on it. I actually knew some people that owned one, and that didn't even make it through.
yeah, just like I think like all like the big staples I remember from there are gone. Fucking Ponderosa went up forever
Yep.
ago. Just a bunch.
I'll tell you, the one that hurt big time was that we lost our Long John Silver's a while back.
That's insane to me because that place was always fucking bumping.
Yep.
And it's just gone.
Yep.
And what was there? Shit, I can't remember what I was gonna say. There was the bar there that had the seafood nachos and the seafood
Gordy's.
cheese bread and stuff. Gordy's went down, and then there was another place we ate at which had the referee as the logo on the top, had the black and white striped it was a bar that had a restaurant in it that had all like the beer bottles.
Oh, you're talking about the Timeout.
Yeah, the Timeout.
Yeah, that was the other Gordy's that was in town. They had the two of them. The one that was, well, for a long time it was out there by crap. Now you made me think about it. I was thinking it was out there by where the Bob Evans was at, but I know that doesn't feel right.
Well, the one close to Bob Evans was the one that was like right in the hotel that was the Irish themed place. My mom worked there for a little bit. That might still be there. What the fuck was that place called? Oh, something maybe. It was some generic Irish name, and it was like just like a sports bar, and it was like attached to that hotel out there by Bob Evans.
I'm trying to think.
Shamrock? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but I have a pretty good idea what you're talking about. But but Gordy's caught fire and they burnt down, and somebody had done a dumpster fire for a joke, and it actually caught the building on fire. And
fucking sucks. That place had some, like I said, that's the seafood fucking nachos and cheese bread, man.
Oh my god!
I guarantee you that seafood that was in it wasn't real seafood, but fuck, was it delicious?
Oh my god! Bobby used to hate when I would come home after eating that shit because my breath would smell so bad. But I couldn't I'd eat the whole fucking thing myself.
Yeah, that's the only time my parents back in the day would buy an appetizer anywhere, and that was that place. That shit was so good.
Oh,
and now it's gone.
And this is now we're eating fish sticks and fucking French fries for Thanksgiving.
But like, I think the only things I know like that were out there now is like Hacienda's still going, as far as I know. I don't think they could ever put that place down.
No, it'd be tough to put that place down. But I don't really enjoy going there. If I'm going to do Mexican, we have enough authentic Mexican places in Warsaw now that you can get a lot better food than going there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, there's one that we've done it on Golden Image podcast. It was El Magua. We call it El Magua, but I don't think it's exactly right.
That's
but
probably not.
That's not exactly it. But it's up in Elkhart. I mean, I'll drive the fucking distance to go to that motherfucker because it is absolutely amazing. Of course, we have Armando's taco truck that sets up shop up next to the liquor store 3 days a week, so you can go up and get your shrimp tacos. They're delicious. And so I don't do Hacienda anymore. I can't fucking stand it.
That's fair. I miss northern Chinese food like Peking and stuff.
I
miss getting Chinese food in the actual like generic Chinese takeout things that fold. They don't do that here. They just throw it in like styrofoam shit. But I mean, recently I found a Chinese restaurant here that's just called Hole in the Wall, and it's very literally that. You just go up to a window and like they give you enough Chinese food to like last you like 2 days. But I miss northern Chinese food. That and Gyro's king.
Oh, King Gyro.
Yeah, King Gyro.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. And that place is still bumping every fucking time you're there.
That's not going somewhere.
No.
If something happens there, it's not going to be good.
We have a couple other new places. El Salvatore's or Salvatore's in Warsaw now. Me and Bobby went there a few weeks ago. Delicious. They did an amazing job. Of course, we got the Texas Roadhouse and we got the Papa Vinos now, but I tell you what, though, it's funny because the first time we ever made the trip down to see your mom and dad, Gunner's, it was, it's always right around Gunner's birthday because it falls the end of June. We always had the 4th of July week off or whatever. And one of the things he wanted for his birthday was Popeyes. And I remember your dad going, "Why the fuck do you want Popeyes?" You see commercials and shit for it, and we don't have it.
Yeah.
So you want to try it.
Well, it's like growing up there. Yeah, it was nowhere. And then you had Little Nicky come out when we were kids that just made it sound so fucking delicious.
Yeah, well, they finally put one in Warsaw. And apparently Warsaw was all about it for the first 3 days. And then it just fucking boom. So every time I go by, the place is empty.
Jeez.
It's terrible. But
Popeyes makes a fucking great chicken sandwich, though. I'll give that.
I have not had anything in there I really like so far. So
I like the spicy chicken sandwich. It's good. But like, as far as like fried chicken is so fucking expensive to get from anywhere these days. It's just like, as with a family of 4, and it's just like, no.
Absolutely.
It costs you an arm and a leg. It's like, hey, you want a 6-piece box, but like almost $30. I'm like, I'm good. My kids are just gonna want the mashed potatoes and the macaroni anyway.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely, I like KFC coleslaw, so I usually get that.
Dude, we got a KFC recently built out here. It's just I never really eat there. Like if I go to KFC, usually I'll get the bowl. It's chicken poppers, and you can't go wrong with that.
No, it's If they just took the corn out of it.
Oh, I agree with you completely.
Just take the corn out. Just give me the mashed potatoes, the gravy, the chicken. And let's call it a day. We don't need to put corn in there.
Yeah, because it's like straight up like they're just popping a top off a can of corn and dip it, like not even warming it up, just fucking
just throwing it in.
There.
Absolutely.
It just throws it all off. It's fine. Anyways, the next podcast coming to Golden Image is gonna be a fucking food one, apparently.
Well, that is Golden Image podcast. If you listen to that, we do a lot of food. Do a lot of food. Not a lot of fast food. We try to do things away from that. But
tell you what, talking about fast food, I missed my window to shoot the call guys a fucking email this week. They fucking pulled the blanket over my head I was like, I'm finally getting the White Castle episode. Titled it and everything, and it's a fucking whole nother goddamn restaurant. And I was like, you sons of bitches.
I asked him about that. I said, you still gonna call guys go to White Castle? And he's like, yeah. But if you look in parentheses at the end, it says Taste of Philly.
They're fucking dirty bastards for that one.
They dirty done you on that one.
Yeah, I've been talking about it since like the beginning of Call Guys, and they finally get the episode and it's somewhere else. And they didn't even eat the food when they got it, man. They waited till they got all the way home where, it wasn't even hot anymore, and they didn't like, this is great. And I was like, yeah, it'd probably been 10 times better if you would have just fucking ate it there in the parking lot, bro.
Oh, I don't know, man. It's still an interesting episode. It was kind of like a chiller filler to me, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed William at the end. I think that was the best part. Was when he came in. Yeah, down there shooting some pool, talking about the food. But they both said it was this place was amazing. That it was as close to an actual Philly cheesesteak as they've gotten. So. And that's tough, man, because I've been there, and Jim's was absolutely fucking delicious.
God, man, like I said, there's a lot of food up there. I mean, there's a lot of great food down here.
Right.
There's a lot of food up there I miss. I have to drive to Houston to get like a deep dish pizza that's worth anything. We don't have any good pizza joints around here, really. Chicago dogs, I have to make my own here, which I do.
Right.
I make my sesame seed bun or my poppy seed buns and everything myself here.
Right on
that. And I just miss that food. And the same with Philly cheesesteaks. I make my own Philly cheesesteak here because and same with Chicago beef. And all of it's a fucking, other than the hot dog, it's all a fucking process.
Oh, absolutely.
Because fucking Chicago beef takes as like a day of labor to get that shit right. And just, I don't even fuck with trying to make a deep dish pizza because the science that goes into that fucking shit, I'm not about. I don't bake. I don't do, when the recipe tells me I got to get out a fucking scale to get the weight of something before I make it.
Yeah,
I'm
done.
I'm out. No thanks. I'll just drive an hour and some change to Houston and get one.
There you go.
No.
We've got a place, and we've talked about it on Golden Image, Oaken Alley.
Yeah, I
And
remember you guys talking about that.
they have they're a craft meadery place that they make craft burgers, and their fucking peanut farmer is I'll roll somebody over for one of those motherfuckers. Let me tell you.
That's all Gunnar ever talks about.
But they are fucking, like you talked about with some of the other places. I mean, it's expensive. I mean, it's like 17, $18 for a fucking burger. And you're like, oh, I don't know. But once you bite into it, you're like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I can deal with that.
I feel that.
Your mom and dad went there when they were up here. Brought me back a tenderloin from there. And I'll tell you what, it's probably one of the best tenderloins I found around this area. So
yeah, I mean, fucking see tenderloin's not something you really see around here either. We do have a fucking right here in town. It's ironic that the town we settled in has it's in like a communal area, like where houses are, and it's in a house, like a little house, and is a German restaurant and a little house. And when you go inside, you feel like you're back there because it's set up just like a lot of the German restaurants there were just based out of somebody's house overseas. And it's two ladies that married plant workers, and the ladies came from Germany, and they just opened a German restaurant. Holy shit. It is
absolutely delicious. Good. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But the thing is like they're importing all this stuff. So it's expensive as shit to eat there. So it's like it's like twice, 3 times a year, maybe thing. And they got like the big pretzels you can get there. And then they got the cake if you're into that kind of thing. And it's just, it's insane.
Sounds amazing.
It is.
Well, I hope everybody had a really good Thanksgiving. Like I said, I know we're recording this Thanksgiving evening. So Thanksgiving was just a couple days ago if you're listening on this Saturday. And we hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving and you got your bellies full and you enjoyed watching Dallas pummel the shit out of fucking Washington. I don't know. Yeah, the game was just about over when we come out to record, and I was like, holy fuck, I don't think Washington's coming back. But
always forget football and Thanksgiving are hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man, you ready to get into the review of November?
Yes, sir. I binge listen to everything like I always do.
Can you fucking believe we're almost to December?
This year has just flow by. They just keep going by faster and faster. So.
We watched the Macy's Day Parade this morning. That's kind of a thing we do on every Thanksgiving. We always have the parade on, and Santa Claus comes out at the end. And I looked at Bobbi and I was like, "Fuck!" And she's like, "What?" I go, "The Christmas season has just started."
Yep. Yeah.
Get ready, boys and girls. I haven't bought a fucking thing yet.
Yeah, me neither. And I've got a gaggle of children to buy stuff for, and all these family things I'm gonna have to go to, and just
it'll be fun.
We'll see.
Well, as this recording comes out, you'll be having Thanksgiving with your parents.
Yeah.
Just turn this on while you guys are cooking and listen to it the other side.
Yeah.
All right, man, get us into this.
All right, so we got on November 1st, J-Dub started the month off with the Rougarou. This critter is said to have been born in the swamps of small town communities in French Louisiana, possibly from stories passed down from French settlers, said to lurk in the swamps and sugarcane fields of the greater New Orleans area. With a lot of physical attributes associated with werewolves, but instead of being under the spell of the full moon, the monster is said to suffer for a 101-day curse. And at the end, it attempts to pass on the curse via ice contact with people that stumble across it. I am spitting distance from Louisiana, so I grew up. I grew up hearing tons of tales of like 2 Louisiana like cryptids, and there's the Rougarou and the Parlingua, and it's nonstop all the time around this area. You got one that is land-based that, like I said, looks a lot like a werewolf. You commented on that episode where you said you saw a picture and you're like, it looks like a wolf on hind legs.
Yep.
And then Parlingua is half alligator, half man. So that one covers your water area.
There
Both
you go.
French names because, Louisiana was settled by the French folk and whatnot.
Right.
I never once heard anybody say that you could fucking catch it via eyesight until J-Dub covered it, and I thought that was a neat take on it because like everything like vampires bite you, werewolves bite you or scratch you, and this one's like just makes eye contact with you.
It's interesting because you think about that and you think that they're trying to basically pass their curse on to you, and they can do it just easily enough by fucking staring you down. And can you it'd be like that kid in that commercial walking by the toys area with his fucking hand up going, I'm not looking at you, motherfucker.
Yeah, because like instinctively, everybody and their brother, you see something peering at you in the dark.
Yep.
You fucking look at it. So, I mean, 101 days makes sense because I imagine it doesn't take long for that thing to get somebody to fucking lock peepers with it. And it's just like, all right, done here.
Yeah, moving on.
Your fucking problem.
It was a fun story, though. I love when Jen gets into some of those stories. We're going to talk about another one of her stories here towards the end, but
yeah,
when she gets involved in those, it's so much fun just to sit back and listen to her, and she did a great job with this one.
Oh yeah, I like you guys say all the time, she gets very animated when she's talking about it and everything.
Oh yeah.
I especially like when you interrupt her and she basically tells you to shut the hell up.
Yeah, that's why I keep doing it, because just see her get a little razz there, and it's like, come on. She gets those jazz hands going. Watch out.
Yeah, it was I think we had 2 cryptid this month, and we had a haunted house, and then we had the hole. Oh my god! But no, I dug the river. I always like listening to things from this area. We've been doing a lot of like I think the last 3 months we have covered something in New Orleans or by New Orleans.
Yeah, we have been like really focused on the New Orleans area for some weird reason, and it's not a mathematical thing that we decided we wanted to do. It's just all this great stuff comes out of New Orleans or Louisiana, and it's like, we're just kind of attracted to that area, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just really rich with like paranormal stuff,
right?
And it just like it's the melting pot of a bunch of different cultures, and then it's the voodoo capital of the world.
Absolutely.
So you got your vampires, you got your voodoo, you got your Rougarous, and God knows what else. Nicolas Cage lived there. So.
Nicolas Cage, your witchcraft and all that shit down in there too. So I mean, it's insane.
Yeah. And then our next one was actually you. November 8th, and you covered the Tallman house, and it's haunted bunk beds. If you haven't seen it, I absolutely recommend episode 44 of Unsolved Mysteries based on this case. It's a fun watch. If
you can find it. Because I heard it's really hard to find out there in La La Land.
It's just Unsolved Mysteries is another one of those ones to where like you hop on one thing that like we have Unsolved Mysteries and it's got season like 1 through 5, and then you're like, where's the other 30 fucking seasons of it? And they're like, well, 10 of them are over here, and then the other 12 are over there, and then it's one of those ones where episodes change fucking numbers for some reason. Just like we talked about with J-Dub's episode, it's just like sometimes it's episode 12, sometimes it's episode 15.
Sometimes it's season 3, sometimes it's season 5. It's like, what the fuck? I
fucking love Unsolved Mysteries because it's like you never know what you're gonna get. It's a grab bag of shit with them. It's like one's gonna be like a murder that's not solved. The next one's like a ghost story, and then like the third one's like, is Santa Claus real? And you're like.
And of course, that guy, whatever the lead guy is, he's got that very distinctive voice.
Yeah, and the theme song too. The theme song I've got on my Spotify playlist. It just pops up every now and then, and just fucking I listen to it all the way through.
Gotta love it.
But yeah, when I watched it shortly after, I can't remember what fucking streaming site I watched on, but it was episode 44 when I watched, and it was fun. It was a good watch.
Right on.
The story is about a family in 1987 that made the mistake of buying what was seemingly a haunted bunk bed from a secondhand store and bringing it home to their children.
Yeah, and then the shit begins.
Yeah, like if I remember right, it chilled in the basement for a good bit, and then eventually they finally moved it up. They put it together and put it upstairs, and that's like where shit started to escalate, because beforehand it was just kind of centered around the basement area.
Yeah.
Where it was by itself.
Yeah, and it was interesting because and if I still don't really necessarily have the complete answer of why they or how they figured out it was the bunk bed or why it went in that reason. But, they didn't really do a complete remodel. They were just fixing up the rooms upstairs before they brought it up.
Mhm.
And then, of course, she had the baby, and that's when they kind of just moved all that shit around to accommodate putting the 2 girls in one room and the boy in the other room. Obviously, in every research and everything that I listened to about it, all the kids' names were redacted, so everybody made up their own names. So I know that I made up names, and I don't remember what I named the kids.
It was something with a Z. J-Dub named it something Z.
Yeah.
I heard it today. It was like zebra, or it was something weird. Sound like zebra or some shit. But yeah, so there's
I wanted to name the kid Jen, and she said no dice.
Yeah, and then she named it some like off the wall shit.
Shit.
So yeah, it seemingly like escalated when they moved upstairs, but also it could be like you said, when it got moved upstairs, they were also moving shit around.
True. And I think, honestly, I think that it manifested more from the arguing and shit that they were already involved in. There was a lot of, there's a lot of arguing, there was a lot of sickness, and there was, a lot of things that kind of, I think, helped build up to that. So,
yeah. So there's no telling if it was actually the bunk beds or it just like correlated with time. Cause we know from past cases that renovating or moving stuff around a house can stir up spirits, negative energy, which fighting and yelling and illness could drum it up too. But I guess they just kind of like threw at the dartboard and they're like, that bunk bed. It's like that basement was fucky while it was down there, and now the kids are having issues now that's up there. But like you said, there was a lot of illness, and what her family didn't like the vibes the house put off. Which, if there was just a bunk bed, you wouldn't figure.
Well, yeah, exactly.
House, you wouldn't think.
Yeah, and then they go bury it in some landfill somewhere, and don't tell anybody where it's at. So
you don't want nobody going to get them a haunted bunk bed.
For our listeners who looked at the socials, I don't even know. I think that the bunk bed that I put on there was actually a reconstruction of what they thought the bunk beds looked like, because nobody ever actually had a picture of the actual bunk beds.
Yeah, like I said, it's as a person that slept on bunk beds basically until he was a young adult. I just tell you, bunk beds are just they save space, but man, there's quicker ways to harm your children. I have fallen off so many bunk beds. I got a permanent scar on my forehead from a ceiling fan on my bunk bed.
Oh,
there was one time in Indiana where I had that big ass wooden bunk bed where I dropped my pillow off my bed, and being a dipshit kid, instead of going down the stairs to go get it, I tried to fucking dangle off the side of my bunk bed and get it. And then I fell off the bunk bed and landed back first on that little tyke's fucking castle.
Oh,
and that castle was unmoved by my little ass, but it knocked the wind right out of me. I'm lucky I don't need a fucking wheelchair.
That was one of the things. That was one of the first things we did when we put that bunk bed in Gunner's room. You slept on the futon underneath, but that was one of the first things I did. Was I took the ceiling fan out and just put in a regular light in that room, because that ceiling fan went right over that bed, and I was like, this was not good. But
see, my parents never took my ceiling fan. And it's like that shit to where it's like, Logan, we know it's a whole twin size bed, but stay to the far left hand side of the bed.
Just to be safe.
And don't sit straight up, otherwise it's gonna fucking take your head off. Every place too. I had one in Atwood. I had one in Germany. I had one in the house in Mauriceville. And then when I lived up in the loft in the house in Viter, me and my dad built me a bunk bed there to save space too. That one didn't have a ceiling fan though. But that one was like right up on the fucking ceiling's dick. Like I could barely fucking move. Just to save space.
That reminds me of the camper that we had when I traveled with my my grandma and grandpa when we were younger. My spot was up front. The cabinetry would fold down, and basically I could just shimmy under there, and my fucking nose would touch the ceiling, and that was my bed.
Yeah, you were basically luggage in a fucking airplane.
Exactly.
Oh shit.
Slept a lot of nights up there, let me tell you.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine at this point. Like, I keep thinking about getting my kids a bunk bed just because like it would save them so much space because they're
Right.
both sharing a room right now. And I'm just like, I can't trust the little bastards not to try to jump off the son of a bitch. I was like,
remember all that shit you did.
yeah, I know. I'm just like, I really don't want to wake up in the middle of the night to take somebody to the emergency room because they broke a leg because they thought a blanket works as a fucking parachute.
Exactly.
So it's a dice roll. You want space or do you want to possibly fucking get a kid in a cast for fucking 6 months?
Yeah, it depends on how much money you want to spend. You got to buy the bunk beds and then you got to pay for the hospital bills.
Yeah.
Another fun story though.
Yeah. So that one also, there was a lot of, I think like 3 out of 3 of the family members all had visions of fires.
Yes.
To where they thought, like, even the dad thought that he was physically going to have to put out a fire.
Yep. Ran in the house for the fire extinguisher because he thought the garage was on fire.
And so either these were warnings from the other side of the gas leak that they found.
Right.
That might result in the family's death, or maybe the effects of a gas leak itself poisoning the family's minds. Or worst case scenario, a malicious spirit or witch causing the leak trying to kill the family.
Right.
They could lean either way.
Yeah, exactly. So, the thought process after the story was over, it was kind of like, I'm betting that she was there trying to warn them that the shit was not right in the house. But because there was never really any, I mean, the spirits were never malicious. I mean, they never really did anything to hurt anybody.
Except like dip a fucking paintbrush ass into fucking paint or something.
Yeah. But I mean, there was nothing there to, I mean, like I said, no maliciousness. It was just they scared the shit out of everybody all the time.
Yeah. So like you said, it could be, there's a lot of cases of that, like popular cases or ghost stories where it's like ghost children helping push a car over the railroad tracks and stuff like this. So for all you know, it's just a ghost that's there, and the ghost might not even give a shit about them. We know that ghosts like to get attached to buildings and stuff. So maybe the ghost is like, hey, fix this fucking gas leak before my fucking house burns down. And I'm haunting a fucking vacant lot.
I hate haunting vacant lots.
Yeah. He's like, this shit sucks, but that would suck so much more.
Well, I mean, and that'll feed into our next story then too, because, that was another play on, if I remember right, if I remember the right story here.
Yeah, no. November 15th, the rocker chick covered cryptid royalty when she covered West Virginia's favorite omen of doom, Mothman.
Yep. And you could walk away from that story thinking that the Mothman is just there to warn you about bad situations.
You could take it. There's a lot of ways you could take it. There's very few people out there that think he's actually causing it.
Right.
There's a lot of people that think he's out there to be like a warning.
Right.
Like, you see me, shit's about to get real. But nobody ever has the take, though, that homeboy just likes to watch the world burn. And just like, he's just chilling up there. He's like, oh, this bridge is about to eat shit. This is going to be good.
Oh, I can't wait for this one. If this little fucking book of the future tells me I'm right, we're going to lose 15 fucking people and 3 of them are going to be decapitated.
Yeah. Everybody's like,
get the popcorn, honey.
Yeah. Everybody's like, Mothman's such a hero. He's trying to warn us. Meanwhile, he's up there with his big gulp and his fucking popcorn. He's like, this shit's going to be righteous.
Exactly.
But that happened.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
That's just saying that. I mean, that's just that was the take I had at the end of the story is I think that Mothman is not necessarily vindictive. I just think he's there to warn people. But go ahead.
I think that's why the townspeople out there love him so much. I think that's where they mostly lean. But that happened out in the French claimed town of Point Pleasant. Like I said, there's a lot of paranormal creatures out in Point Pleasant, like a fuck ton. But the most famous of all of them is Mothman. Seemingly wherever he goes, disaster is not far behind.
Right.
The town that many people claim to be the first of combat in the Revolutionary War, which they think possibly tainted the land, or deeper, a lot of people think it's a cursed place because Native Americans who were betrayed by settlers. So either way, it seems like that land's seen a lot of not great shit from
Right.
war to the stuff that the rocker chick talked about that happened to the Native American community out there, which was awful. So there's people that think he's got tons of different origins. Some people think he's from space, involved with the alien entity known as Ingrid Cold, the Smiling Man, which we've covered before.
Right.
Or being birthed from hell, or an ancient Native American vengeful spirit. It's just a grab bag of ideas, and like nobody knows for sure. So everybody kind of likes to lean one way. The only thing that's consistent with him is wherever he shows up, not too long after, something fucking horrible happens, from car crashes to bridge collapsings. People have seen him in, like we talked about, in Chicago, just like everywhere. I mean, he's a giant fucking flying moth. I don't know why he would be stuck to one place. So it kind of makes sense that other people have seen him other places, or maybe there's more than one.
Well, I mean, if you would actually take it and put it in with the Native Americans, and maybe they're the ones that are trying to warn along. I mean, you know, we've done many stories about Native American burial grounds and shit that has happened. I think I even mentioned in that was, or maybe, listen, so one of my next stories revolves around where I give a lot of history in the opening, and a lot of it is Native American related. So if I can, forgive me if I'm ahead of myself, because we've already pre-recorded a couple of these because of the holidays.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've done so many stories like the Bell Witch, you know.
Yeah.
The more and more I dug into the Bell Witch when I did that story a year and a half ago, the more I realized that I'm 100% positive that it was a Native American spirit that was haunting the Bell family. But, you know, those burial grounds are all over up around
absolutely.
here and through that last. So why wouldn't the Mothman be everywhere?
Yeah. And you got to remember, the Native American community has so many spirits and gods, like based off of like creatures and stuff that like they swore by. And so like, just because those people stopped, like those people were killed and everything like that, doesn't mean like the things that they're worshiping aren't still out there.
Right.
They're just, you know, they're less known about. And like I said, I don't know how any of that works. I don't know if a lot of people believe that like stuff like that, like lose power and have less of the less that they are worshipped, or so like I said, it could go either way.
Right. Right.
But like you said, what place in the United States isn't a Native American burial ground because of the travesty that happened to those people, and the fact that even before we got here, they were settled everywhere. So God knows what your house is built on, or a theme park's built on, or
right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to even think about that. I mean, because fuck, I'm 50 years old. I never really thought about that until the last year or so. It was like, you know, how much of this land that I'm on was actually occupied by, you know, some sort of Indian tribe. Or, you know, I've talked about him early in this episode about Phil. You know, he is part Iowa tribe, or and forgive me, Phil, if I got that completely wrong, but maybe it's the Hiawatha tribe or something like that. But you know, we've talked at length about how Thanksgiving for an Indian native, or, you know, part of that tribe or whatever, how they don't view Thanksgiving the same way that we do.
Yeah.
You know, it's totally different for them. They don't really call it Thanksgiving. They call it, you know, a lot of other things that revolve around that. So, I mean, it's interesting to really, you know, stop and think about it and sink your teeth into it about what went on. And I'm going to tell you right now, my next episode, you guys tune in. I will give you some history on the Indian tribe that got pushed out of the town that I talk about. So I don't want to give it too far away.
No, too much spoilers.
I'm not even sure when that fucking episode's going to come out.
It's just crazy. Like same with Mothman and Bigfoot. It's like, these are creatures that we as a human race have talked about for so long, But nowadays, like you can't look left or right without seeing Bigfoot or Mothman
Right.
on something or about them.
Oh, it's become completely commercialized. I don't know about I mean, Mothman has been to an extent, but Bigfoot, man, I tell you what, everywhere is something about Bigfoot. He's become quite the commercial popularity.
Yeah, now these creatures have fucking statues and festivals and bumper stickers, and we have an RV park that just got built right by us, and on their main building where you go to like talk to them and rent and everything, just 2 big metal Sasquatch cuts out stamped right to the side of the building.
Yeah, around Jellystone you can see them. The little figures that people put like right next to their campers, but there is one camper that has a full-blown wood carved 6-foot Sasquatch. Maybe only cool. 5 foot, but it's still huge considering.
Well, yeah, and you got to think like as it's just like these last few years, it seems to be a spike of seeing of these things. And it makes me think if it does tie back around to what I said before, it's like the whole tulpa thing, like the more people that believe in it or are looking for it gives it more energy. So like putting that energy out there might be manifesting things more. Or
I mean, that would be 100%, on, because like I said, we have talked about it before. So we know that that's a distinct possibility.
Yeah. And that brings us to the last episode this month, which just aired yesterday for us, which would be November 22nd. J-Dub talked about the magic that is Mel's hole. Not to be confused with Jeremy's sister.
I forgot to text her. I need to text her. Be like, hey, we did a story about you.
Out in Washington. The legend allegedly located by Ellensburg, Washington, that started circulating via call to Coast AM via a guy named Mel Waters.
And the funny thing about that is the Mothman episode and the Mel's Hole episode, I believe both of them talked about Coast to Coast AM.
Well, because it used to be back in the day, like that's where you went to get your weird conspiracy spooky shit. Like that was like, I don't know if you've ever if you ever listened to an episode of Coast to Coast.
I have not. I was going to when we first started because Alicia was like, all about Coast to Coast.
Yeah, she's a big fan of Coast to Coast.
Her and Ashley from Murderers both listened to it, a lot. And I was going to go back and listen, but it's hard to kind of find some of those old episodes. But
there's nothing like a late night. First of all, I love late night radio. I love good late night radio. It's harder to come across anything like that nowadays, but like this is a late night radio that's talking about cryptids and aliens and ghosts, and then they do something that you really is a dice roll with those categories. They took live phone calls from strangers across the world, and it can go one of 2 fucking ways and 2 ways only. It's either going to be a really fucking good story, or it's going to be fucking Elvis stole my baby to go back to fucking space, batshit fucking crazy. And the best part is he entertained them both.
Yeah, he didn't care.
Yeah, no, because it's late night radio. He's like, I gotta fill fucking 6 hours of radio, dog. You want to talk to me about fucking JFK's brain was scooped out and put into this guy's brain that works at the fucking Kmart? Fucking let's fucking do it.
I'm all about it.
Yeah, no, and like clearly he entertained this guy for a long time because this guy kept calling back in. Right. He was like, "Hey, man, guess what I put in the hole this week?" He's like, "All right, what'd you put in there this time?"
It's okay. So I don't know, man. It was so weird because
it was trippy.
I was listening to J-Dub tell the story. The only thing I knew going into the recording of that was, this is what she's doing.
Yeah.
I'm doing a story about Mel's hole. I'm like, okay. I'm listening. And legitimately, a lot of the times when the girls are telling stories, I'll just close my eyes and just kind of, use the imagination to try to see and to kind of put the story together. And she's talking about him using that fishing line and to try to see what the depth of that is. And I know that I had a conversation with somebody who was talking about fucking dropping fishing line down a fucking hole because I kept imagining, well, you reach, I mean, if you had 100 foot of fishing line, because most reels come with,
Yeah.
even 1,000 feet, you're going to run out. And I remember thinking, oh, how do you tie, you'd have to tie that together and you have to make sure you don't fucking drop it down that fucking hole because then you just lose your 1,000 feet of fucking fishing line. And I remember having that distinct conversation with somebody. And I even called you and I'm like, did we have this conversation?
Yeah.
Did we talk about it on an other side episode? Or did we just talk about it in general? And you're like, I don't know. No, we didn't have any conversation like this. I can't fucking figure out for the life of me why that seems so deja vu-ish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
Drove me nuts.
There's no telling. It sounds like something that my mom's dad would have fucking talked about back in the day or some shit. There's no fucking telling.
Well, he claimed many alien stories.
Oh yeah, no,
like
I remember
so.
that. He would talk to me about that when I was a little kid, talk about aliens, and I had him, and then on my dad's side, he had an uncle that was convinced aliens taught his fucking his livestock how to fucking smoke cigarettes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it could go either way, but I could definitely see Grandpa being like, "Yeah, we found this hole and we got some fishing string. And we just kept on going."
Yeah, but once again, they took shit and just threw it in that fucking hole because that was the way it was back then.
Well, yeah, you need to dump trash. Why pay the fucking city when there's this fucking never-ending hole? Just fucking throw your sofa in there.
Yeah. So, what was your take on it? Because even after I listened to it again, because I listened to it when it came out on Wednesday, I'm listening to it again, and I'm thinking, what could it have been that would just incinerate all that shit?
Man, it's just there's so many. It's one of those things where it's like either it's a fucking holy anomaly, a fucking scientific wonder, or it's just a guy that's fucking completely fucking unglued. And there is scientific shit that could explain why shit's getting toasted down there. There could be like a natural gas vent down there it's just like the pressure of it could fucking cook something. There could be like an ungodly hot spring at the fucking bottom of it that's just like a fucking natural geyser like Yellowstone, to where they don't let people get in that shit because he'll boil your fucking skin off.
Right.
Now, does that explain why the lamb came up cooked with a fucking seal baby growing out of it?
That's true. No. Does it explain what happened to the dead dog they threw in there?
Oh yeah, the fucking dog. They're like, yeah, we chunked it in there, and then a week later, we saw the same dog just fucking walking out. It's like, one, it was dead. Two, even if it resurrected it, how the fuck did it get out of the hole?
Yeah, exactly. And the other question is the little seal thing. Why did it jump back in the hole?
Oh, because it's where it came from. If you go full conspiracist, who's to say the hole isn't leading to a different fucking dimension?
Oh,
and in the different fucking dimension, the temperature's so fucking hot that something from our universe will fucking burn up there, and it just brought something back with it. And it's just like that seal's like, all right, I'll cure your cancer, but fuck, is it cold here? I'm gonna go back to
fucking all you have is fucking rain. You're in Washington, ain't you? Goddamn rain.
It's like 70 degrees here, and apparently cancer's a thing here. I'm gonna go back to my hellish landscape where cancer's not a problem and it's a nice fucking 130 degrees.
That's right. It's balmy.
Yeah. So like I said, it could go either way. Like, dude, I would like to find those. I'm sure I could. I'd like to find those episodes of Coast to Coast where he talked about it, because I want to hear what he sounds like.
Oh,
because
right.
The whole time I heard the story, I just thought in my head it was some dude in overalls with no shirt underneath them,
the straw hat,
just fucking with a wheelbarrow with a fucking lamb and some garbage in it, just walking out there with his rope, just chunking shit in there, just be like, see what we find today. I just want to know what he sounds like, because you can kind of get that vibe from people, when you hear their voice and how they tell a story, if they're fucking crazy,
right?
I think I might have talked about it on here before. I can't remember if I have, but you got your normal people, you got your conspiracist people, and then you have your people that have something physically broken in their head to where they go insane.
Right.
Because where my parents originally lived in Mauriceville, there was a restaurant down the street. My mom had a small office in that vicinity, and I would ride my bike. When I was a kid, I'd ride my bike wherever the hell around town. One day I was just walking on the fucking railroad tracks, like close to my mom's business, and this lady comes out of this abandoned house. It's been abandoned forever down there, and she's like flagging me down. So I'm thinking, oh, she might need help or something. And man, I wish I had not fucking stopped, because this woman starts this conversation off, and I'm like, she sounds a little weird, but then she goes from like, she was like, the cops broke into my house last night. And I was like, that's weird, seeing how that's not your house, but okay. And she was like, she grabs my hand and puts it on her fucking head. And she was like, and they beat me because they know I can control the weather, and they're trying to stop me. So they were beating me. You feel those lumps? And I just like, there's no lumps, but I was like, yeah, I can feel the lumps. And she was like, yeah. So now you have to wait till these heal before I can fix the weather again, because now my brain's not right. And I was like, I don't think that's why your brain's not right, homie. She's like, I could have stopped this weather, and I could stop that last hurricane, but they keep beating me. And I was just like, oh. And I was just like, oh God, she's gonna fucking drag me off into this fucking house
and eat your foot.
Yeah, something fucking insane. It's like, to completely control the weather, I need to ingest at least one human foot.
That's
like,
one human foot and
like
2 pinkies.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
So you never, like I said, with Coast to Coast, it was just a crapshoot of what you got on there.
Right.
You get somebody that's like, I work for the government, and they sound super credible, really smart, and they're like, so I'm blowing the whistle on this. And they would give a fake name, and then you would have one guy that's like, oh, I had a friend once that said he saw Sasquatch smoking a Marlboro on the side of the road, and you're like, maybe that's what his friend did tell him. And then you got people like Homeboy that was like,
has a giant hole in his backyard.
To me, like, he lost the credibility when he was like, the government took it away, so I just went out to Las Vegas and found me a brand new giant hole that leads
Right.
to nowhere. And I'm like, you got like some special like divining rod built into you that just finds like weird fucking endless holes, because like the fact that you just managed to go find another one.
Well, he
It
did
kinda
go
blows my
to what did he go to France or something for 2
No,
years?
he went to fucking Australia.
But the other one was actually in the Badlands in Nevada, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I said. He just fucking came back to the United States, tried to go back, and like, no, you can't go here. He's like, fine, I'll go to Vegas and I'll get my own new fucking hole with blackjack and hookers.
Can't go wrong with that. Well, wait.
Yeah.
What can we, that gives it, once again, a whole new meaning to Mel's Hole.
Yeah, Mel's hole. Yeah. So that story was wild. It was definitely like the craziest story this month.
Oh yeah, 100%. See, now when we talked about this a second ago, I kept falling to the fact, listen to it again, that maybe it was an alien ship that was underneath there, that was like the afterburner or whatever was, right there, and they kept throwing shit into their fucking part of their engine that just, was hot.
Fucking toasting
So
it all up.
yeah.
Yeah, there's no fucking
What?
Who is that?
Who do you think it is?
Is it the Mojo?
It is. Yeah.
Oh.
So here I am in my studio by myself, and all I can see out of the corner of the camera is my fucking. There's a light out there. I'm like, what is going on? Did you want to say hi? Did you want to be on the United States Paranormal podcast?
Hi, Mojo.
Hello.
What time is it there? It's like 8:00. It's 9 there.
It's a little after 9.
You're a little off.
No,
frame
you don't
there,
get no
kiddo.
microphone. You don't get no headphones. You don't get anything. You just have to say hi.
You just get to be
Gonna
nice
peek in.
background.
I can't even give her something to listen to you with. So because of the way I got this set up. So she's
That's
just
fair.
kind of host.
I figured if we went long enough, she'd pop up in there.
Yeah. Well,
And
how long-
since we spent like an hour talking about fucking food beforehand,
it's
so
true. It's true. It's very, very true. Yeah, I'm gonna have to admit that freaked me out a little bit, because all in this corner, I'm like, what the fuck is that? In my camera, and then I realized the door had opened.
yeah, there's nothing like talking about spooky shit and stuff get a little fucking wonky.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. That is the review from November, United States Paranormal.
It's everything from cryptids to ghosts to Mel's spooky hole.
That's right. You can't go wrong with Mel's Hole.
Ah,
Oh, yeah. It was a fun month. I will say that I did look at it. I'm pretty sure that the next episode of the United States Paranormal is mine, and that will be when we talk about the Native Americans and the travesty that happened to them.
And allegedly, we think it's a strong possibility this Thursday on the Golden 80s podcast, I will be on
yes,
for
What's Your Damage?
What's Your Damage with Frankie Vegas and Golden J. So if you want to come on over and check that out, absolutely do. We talk a little bit of horror stuff, a little bit of everything. So definitely check it out.
If it's not on this Thursday, it'll be on the following Thursday. I can't remember what order we recorded shit.
It's a crapshoot. But either way, go listen on Thursday because it's a great show.
Yeah, we enjoy doing the Golden 80s.
I love Frankie Vegas.
Well, and he loves you. My goodness, I'm glad that camera didn't point south. Let me tell you.
Then go check out merch for sure too.
Look at that Other Side T-shirt he's wearing, man. That thing's badass.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's a great shirt.
Yeah,
it's all embroidered. Looks all professional and shit.
Doesn't it though?
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, you can find all of our merchandise at the United States of Paranormal.com. You missed out on the Vamptober.
You did.
It's all gone now.
But you can still go get you a great white bald beaver shirt or
absolutely
tons of other great shirts and designs out there. So
absolutely.
I'll tell you what, I was on the merch store for the Golden Image merch store. I can't remember the website name for that. Is it just
goldenmojoent.com?
Yeah, and I was going to look on there, and there was no fucking Call Guys t-shirts for grown-ups on there.
I know.
And I was beside myself.
I'm sorry. Do you need to order a Call Guys t-shirt?
I almost logged on it and fucking put a shirt together myself.
Well, you do have the power.
Yeah, I know. I was tempted. I was like, I can get on there. I can do this right here, right now.
Hey, listen, man, I'm not going to lie. Between trips to Kansas City, holidays, getting everything recorded so we have plenty of stuff to come out, and doing all the editing, I have faltered in my.
Oh, that's not faltering. Nobody fucking blames you. You're busy as shit.
And we have special plans coming up. Hopefully, if I dialed it in just right, episode 100 should fall on January 10th, and we are going to do a live episode. It should be fun. I don't know what we're going to talk about. It'll probably be just kind of a chiller pillar type thing, but should be a good time. So, nice. Yeah, you'll have to get in on the chat room on that one there, buddy. Because
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we could bring in an outside source for that, or I'd have you on there with us. But
yeah, it sounds like it's going to be complicated already. Yeah. And you guys are going to have Chico running that, huh?
Chico's going to be, well, he said he's going to be in-house with me to help run it. So nice. That way I can concentrate on everything. That's why, if like we talked about before we started the show, I'm in the midst of revamping the studio so that I can have everything all dialed in for the girls so that they can all have their own screens and all this other stuff. So yeah, individual cameras, the whole 9 yards. But so hopefully everything will be squared away and ready to go as we go live with United States Paranormal.
Yeah, it'll be a trip. That's your guys' first live thing. I've done 2 on this end.
True. So. I keep trying to talk myself into going and finding me a bar and doing a live show, but I'm not sure I could pull it off.
And I tell you what, it worries you all up until you sit there, and then when it's happening, all the worry kind of just
floats away. Yeah,
just goes away. I mean, you got you down there. You know so many people locally. You probably have just a decent crowd off of just friends, family, and homies.
Yeah, one would hope so, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe something next year will work out and try doing something like that. Maybe give you a good time. So we'll see. I got enough on my plate. I'm not jumping on that train just yet.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fair.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's it. We covered food and family and all the spooky shit. I think we landed this plane successfully.
All right. Sounds good. Perfect. We flew it. We landed it.
So all you hitchers and drifters out there, just remember, there's no reason to fear what happens after life, because Golden J and Logan will be waiting for you on the other side. Keep it spooky, I guess.
Keep it spooky. Later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to The United States of Paranormal. Check us out at theunitedstatesofparanormal.com or at any other of our social media pages. At Twitter at TOSOPPOD, at Instagram at The United States of Paranormal, or Facebook at The United States of Paranormal, or YouTube at The United States of Paranormal 1795.
Please check out our other podcasts in the Golden Mojo Entertainment Network. The Call Guys, Golden Image Podcast, Indiana Chiefs Fans, The Golden 80s, Murd Nerds, and A Quart of Books and Booze.
And if you have a location you would like us to check into or a creepy story that you would love to tell us, please email us at theunitedstatesofparanormal@gmail.com. Please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you listen.